This guy's trying to claim that he's not dark skinned, but it's quite obvious that he is, because he has such a fixation on me not preferring dark skinned men over light skinned men. It's like, from my perspective, it's weird because, like, dude, why is it I have such an anger and an issue with the fact that people like what they are, usually, more than what is not them. I'm not dark skinned. I don't prefer dark skin. I think people usually aren't shocked when people my color don't prefer you when they're not black. Let's just be honest. Like, Indians my color, Hispanics my color, when they don't prefer dark skinned black people, you don't have an issue with this because you understand that you understand that they don't look like you. They don't have your skin tone, right? But then when someone is their color and they are black, somehow they have to have some kind of allegiance to you. I'm sorry, it's not how that works. You get what I mean? It should work where you're attracted to what looks like you and what is similar to you, regardless of if that person is your race or not, you know? When you are a lighter skinned person, and added to the fact that when we talk about racially, personally, for me, I'm Fulani and Tuareg ancestry. Technically, we go over all that, even on that basis. Those people don't racially see themselves as the same thing as black sub-Saharan African people added to it. So from my perspective, it's not just a color thing, but it is also a feature thing. But regardless, for me, I've always said my preference has always been features and skin tone. It's never really been on biology. Like, I don't really care if you are a full African and you come up with the same features I like, facial features I like, and the same skin tone, well, then that's cool to me. I mean, like, I'm attracted to that type of phenotype. If you look similar to, Fulani men, Tuareg men, East African men, North African men, Indian men, Mexican men, so forth. If you look like that, those are generally what racially in the history of racial classifications were generally called brown men at times. When they were not put in the Caucasian category, they were called brown. And personally, to me, I prefer brown men. I've always said this. I like the brown phenotype. I don't like quite the fair white phenotype more than the brown man phenotype, and I don't like the black phenotype more than the brown phenotype. Now, like with the white phenotype, I've said this before. Like, the white phenotype has its beauty. You know what I mean? It has its own beauty going on there. So there are some beautiful white men who are not going to be less attractive than the brown man because in their own right, they're beautiful just in their own phenotype. See, you can sometimes find beauty in other phenotypes, but the thing is with white men is they still have the same structural um, facial features as, the other men I named, basically. This is why they were all put in the Caucasian category. Indian men originally were put in the same Caucasian category as, men in Sweden, to be completely honest with you. Um, Scandinavian men, you know. Um, they were all put in the Caucasian category because they all have the same facial structure. So that's what I'm attracted to generally, is like the structure of a person's face. Added to, I prefer lighter skin compared to skin like this or this. This is dark skin to me. And I understand these people, I guess, are slightly different shades of brown, dark brown, but this is all dark skin to me. I don't, that this isn't obviously, but this, all that's dark skin to me. I know sometimes people will try and be like saying this is brown skin, they want to say, or this is brown skin. No, they're all the same color at this point. They're all different doo-doo colors, basically. Um, so for me, I do not prefer dark-skinned black men. That's just my thing. Why do I not find them attractive? I specifically explain this. It's not that I have anger, because he started thinking that I had anger towards dark-skinned black men. Um, no. Let's go back to when I was 17, 18. Before I had any interaction with dark-skinned black men, like harassing me or anything like that, back then, I specifically had this mentality where I was like, of the mentality where I wanted to basically prefer the same things I'm saying right now. And I had this whole list of men, the phenotype that I liked back then when I was like 17, 18. I always had that perspective. And it's always been that way. Asians would be excluded and black men would be excluded automatically. And I thought this was kind of like obvious that that should be the case, because who's really attracted to black men? In my mindset, I thought no one was actually. Because to me, I always thought that they had very feminine features. Like, look, this guy's got very soft, round nose, high cheekbones, round chin, full lips, um, round forehead. Hairline is not square. That's not a square hairline at all. And he seems to have not that much of a brow ridge. It seems flat, very feminine. How am I supposed to know this guy from a trans man? Really, seriously, I can't tell the difference. Black men to me look like there's not really much of a distinguishment in their faces to black females. I mean, like I said, these features are very feminine features. So I don't find that type of phenotype to be attractive because they have very feminine features on their face. To me, I mean, like, I use this example. I specifically knew this situation where I'm talking to this one guy with long hair. He was white, and he didn't have his hair down that day, though. But he had long hair, like, I think past his butt or something. Um, Not one I was attracted to, but he had long hair. And I never once thought that he was a girl. But I specifically had this situation where I was just literally talking to this person at work, and then I was talking to someone else who had long hair, and he was a black man. And I didn't know. Well, I wasn't talking to him actually. I was just coming to sit next to him. Um, and I remember thinking, I said, I'm going to sit next to her, basically, because I didn't know that that was I didn't know it was a black man. And because, like I'm saying, I easily don't distinguish their faces. It's the same thing with Asian men. When Asian men wear long hair, I usually think that it could be a female unless they're standing up or they're talking to me. If they're talking to me, then you can hear that they're male in their voice, or if they're standing up, then you can see like that they don't have a chest in their body structure, maybe. This one was overweight, so it was harder to see what his sex was even on that level, because his body type did have curves because he was fat. Um, so that's my point. It's that generally for me, I make more mistakes with gender and sex with black men and Asian men because their faces to me look like basically they could be either sex. To me, black males and black females look the same, just like Asian males and Asian females look the same. You don't see black people really making a distinction in their faces, implying that the other sex looks different. You don't. It's like they are aware of it too, I think. But I don't know if they're really aware. Maybe they can tell a difference. But personally, to me, I can't tell a difference. If I can't tell you from a woman, then how do you expect me to find you attractive as a man? Because I'm attracted to men, so my attraction has to be based in manly features and looking like a man. If you don't look like a man, then, obviously I can't find you that attractive. Now, that's my whole point here. Now, on light skinned men, I'm showing light skinned and brown skinned men, caramel complected men. I know you want to call some of these dark skinned men brown skinned, but these are dark skinned men to me. Brown skin would be like, for example, like this guy. This guy is brown skinned, in my opinion. This guy is brown skinned. This guy is brown skinned. These are brown skinned men here. This is a very handsome non-black man. I think some people would try and say white. I think he's Hispanic. But or Southern European, I think, or something. But very handsome. So his like mixed or light skin or brown skin men tend to have more masculine features, for example. So for me, this is why I prefer them over dark-skinned black men. Now, personally, to me, I've never been with any black man of any color, okay? I've never been with a dark-skinned man. I've never been with a light-skinned man. I don't have a high body count or anything. My body count is 4. I've not been sexually active until I was almost 27. I was 26 and a half. I lost my virginity on May 22nd, 2020. So, I mean, like, yeah. I'm not a very promiscuous woman. Now, if I like dark-skinned men, probably would, because you're right. Dark-skinned men harass me a lot and wish I did like dark-skinned men, but I don't. And I've never been with any black man to begin with. I've talked to some men who were mixed and all that stuff. I've talked to them before. It's just that percentage-wise, they're not very common. You know what I mean? They're not very, there's not too many of them around. So, anyway, for me, it's just like, these men, these men would be more of the masculine features that I'd be looking for of light-skinned black men to me. Because they have more prominent of a chin, prominent jaw, sharper nose. You see how his brow ridge is? It's a better brow ridge. It's more prominent. It's a harder brow ridge, and it's a squarer brow ridge. His cheeks are not that prominent either. They're not sullen like I like them sunken. I like sunken cheeks, but they're still good. They're not bad. They don't take away from his masculine structure. See, that's what I mean. That's the type of masculine structure I like in men generally. It's like, a more prominent jaw, a prominent chin, more of a pointed nose, closer eyes together, more of like a square hairline, so forth. Like, I like masculine features. And even on this guy who, you can see that he still has some Afrocentric features on this guy, right? But at least he still has a chin. He doesn't have much of a cheekbone structure, and his hairline and jaw still look masculine. It's almost like he still looks like a man still, while the other people I showed don't look like men. Another example, still very much more prominent features. The other one had much more feminine features. I could turn those other people into pretty women if I wanted to, almost because their features are so close to women. These men, you can tell they have obvious masculinized features: the chin, the jaw, the lack of a cheekbone structure, more of a prominent a nose that's pointed, more pointed than black men, prominent brow ridge, hairline, so forth. That's what I mean. That's why I prefer lighter skinned black men over dark skinned black men. This is not a hate issue. It's just well, one looks like a man to me and one doesn't. You know, and it could have to do with the fact that for me, where I grew up, how I grew up, was around light skinned black men. Like, no one in my family is dark skinned. I mean, there's this one guy that's dark skinned in my family, and, well, he got sent away before my mother was born. He got sent away when he was 2. So, I mean, like, he wasn't really in our family like that. And, I mean, in photos I've seen him, to me, when I was little, I was just scared of him, honestly. Um, but yeah, most of my male relatives aren't dark skinned. They're usually um, just light skinned, like very obviously light skinned too. Like all my male cousins are obviously light skinned, except, oh yeah, one of my cousins, male cousins, is dark skinned, and he is someone who he's developmentally disabled, basically. So yeah, I don't know. To me, I just see him as a big baby, really. Um, not in an insulting way, actually. He's a child still, so it's kind of like different. But yeah, like for me, um, what I'm used to seeing is light skinned men, so that's normal to me. While I look at dark skinned men, they look abnormal. So it's just like, I'm not used to looking at them. Growing up, what I was used to seeing was light skinned men. And they still have the standard masculinity. You see, they still have the standard masculinity that is required for a man, And you can see this trend in other races of men as well. They still have the same standard of masculinity, they still have the same structure as these men. So and that's why for me, I personally find like that them both on the same wavelength of why I'm attracted to them, basically. And because of that, that's why I find dark skinned black men not attractive. You know, that's not to say that I hate them. Like I said, it just is a thing where I'm just not attracted to them. Um, it's just really obvious that when someone like this is angry, that they're really angry at the fact that I'm just not attracted to dark skinned black men. But it's not going to change anything. I mean, like, I'm still not going to be attracted to dark skinned black men because I'm not attracted to dark skinned black men. I mean, like, it's never going to change. And, I don't see Asian men freaking out that I'm not attracted to them. They just keep it pushing, they understand some people don't like Asian men. I'm one of them. And it's funny that both black men and Asian men have parts that are really not my cup of tea. But anyway, this goes into the whole thing of how this person, to me, it's obviously a dark skinned black man because why are you so fixated on me hopefully being with a dark skinned black man sometime in my life? Why are you wishing that my past was like that? Like I said, personally for me, I've never been with any black man. The only the only thing one could think of is one guy I was with was Puerto Rican and he was fair skinned, blonde hair, blue eyed, white, much whiter than these men, by the way, I would say. Yeah, some kind of common look to this guy, but much lighter hair, blonde hair, and just a little bit lighter than this guy, basically. I don't know. I think his beard was kind of similar to this guy, so his beard's kind of patchy actually. I think his was thicker. But he still looked very white or whatever. But I always assumed he had like 18% black in him because if you look at Puerto Ricans generally, when they take the DNA test, it's always 18% black that's in them for the most part. It's usually right around that percentage. So because of that, I always thought he probably had that, and plus his hair was wavy, so but not in the sense of like phenotype. No, I've never been with a guy that looked anything racially similar to this kind of guy, for example. Never like this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, or 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 this guy. Like, never for these guys. So I'm saying, like, none of the guys I've been with have looked remotely black at all. They would, I'd say the darkest may have looked like similar racially, I'd say. So, like, none of these really. I don't know, like, more Hispanic-y. I'd say maybe like this, I guess. Or like Hispanic-y, kinda, I guess. At the most. Of anyone I've had sex with, so. I don't know. It's just like for me, personally. I've never, anyone I've dated, probably a little bit darker than that, but yeah, like most every guy that I've ever been involved with didn't look at all white. I mean, look at all black. They generally look white or like mestizo. So, my whole point in sharing this with you was specifically just to let you know that for me, I personally, don't have hate towards dark skinned black men. I support a lot of different dark skinned black men channels. Like, I support APL. I support O'Shea Duke Jackson, even though every time I comment there, people always freak out because of my name. But it's always like, I support the channel. I just don't want to sleep with him. Like, why can't I just support a channel without wanting to sleep with the dark skinned black man? Why is it you have to be like, oh, you have to prefer dark skinned black man? Can I agree with your points without having to want to sleep with you? Like, that's what it should be like. I mean, this is what YouTube is about. It's not a dating forum. It's a forum where people exchange opinions, and some people agree with those opinions and what they have to say and so forth, and they support it. That's what you should be focused on rather than if someone wants to sleep with you or not. So, from my perspective, it's just very interesting that, a person like this, keeps focusing on that when it's like, for me, I don't have anything against dark skinned black men. And, I've never been involved with a dark skinned black man. I don't have any hate towards dark skinned black men. I really don't. You know, just for me, this isn't an issue, personally. You know, I think that what you need to do is, find a way to love your own dark skin and not look to other people who aren't dark skinned to prefer you. Because, I mean, like, shouldn't it be expected that maybe we might have a preference towards our own phenotype? And if we do, that's nothing against you. You shouldn't feel insecure about it, and you wouldn't feel insecure about it if you actually loved your own skin tone. So that's all I have to say here. Oh yeah, one other thing. I've never had an STD in my whole life. So I wanted to address that part too. But yeah, I've never had any problems like that. I've never had any problem with dark skinned black men besides sexual harassment with them. Um so that's all I have to say here. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, comment down below, and have a great day. Bye.